This podcast is part of the Planet Broadcasting Network.
Visit planetbroadcasting.com for more podcasts from our great mates.
Good morning, video games. Welcome once again to Filthy Casuals, a podcast about video games hosted by three very kind and knowledgeable boys. Thank you for joining us. My name is Tommy Dasilo, and we also have...
Ben Vanel, episode 130. I'm feeling flirty.
And rounding out the trio, we have...
Adam Knox. I'm feeling... I just came, so I'm not horny at all.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. How long's your recharge time?
I thought you were going to say, like, my reach. I could get the other fucking wall from here, bro.
How long's your dick, man?
It's short, but it's powerful.
I'm the opposite. I got a really long dick, but my reach is very low. You and I would basically be able to hit the same point.
It only gets halfway down the dick sometimes.
Wonderful stuff. Joining us today, we have two very special guests. You know them from the podcast Mic Check, which is one of my favourite podcasts, and their new podcast Total Reboot, which I've not listened to yet and can only assume is terrible. Please welcome James and Alexei Toliopolous.
Hey guys, so I feel at home. I wasn't sure how I was going to fit in, but as soon as you guys started talking about cum and short, powerful dicks, I knew that I'd come to the right podcast.
Cameron has never played a video game, but he loves cum. He absolutely loves the stuff.
Yeah, I go gaga for this shit.
I think they're making a game of your life, Cam, called Battle Chodes.
Nice, dude.
This is the kind of shit I like. Yes. This is the kind of shit I really like. Excellent, guys. This is cool. Thanks for letting me be a nerd for a day. Feels
What's
cool.
your... so neither of you, do you play games at all?
I just bought a Nintendo Switch.
Sick.
And everyone has been so proud of me. I've been getting lots of messages. Truscott and Levin said they were literally proud of me to finally get that Switch.
Great.
And so I've played it many a time.
What'd you get on it?
I just got Zelda and Mario Kart.
Great. It would have been great if you hadn't bought any games for it yet. It's a slow process.
I've been creating my Miitomo for a little while. I'm trying to get him to look like me at the moment. They don't have a curly hair setting.
Great.
So just when I get that, I'm going to rip shit up.
What are your glasses options? They're pretty limited.
Just the regular pair, but I've made them gold so they look like mine.
You are wearing kind of gold glasses.
Yeah.
Honestly,
That's
thanks,
sick.
man. Thank you so much.
But they fit on your face, so I'm not like... It's not like whoa, Kanye West is here or whatever.
Yeah.
Wait.
Honestly,
he wears weird sunglasses.
Those Venetian shades?
Yeah.
From 2006.
please let the record show I am not wearing the Venetian shade sunglasses as my regular
No,
pair
you
of
are.
glasses.
You were wearing them as you came in and you were listening to MGMT.
Yeah.
On speaker.
You've got poor eyesight, so those Venetians are prescriptions, so you can actually see properly out of them.
Give me something to focus on, just in the foreground.
I would have gone more Elton John as a frame of reference.
Oh,
with
yeah.
those gold shades.
Honestly,
It's real Crocodile Rock hours in
I
here.
prefer Kanye West. Thank
Well, you got a problem with Croc Rock?
you. Sorry, man.
Not into it.
Not into it,
Wow.
Oh, this
dude. Too
guy
weird
rules.
for me. Too weird.
Yeah.
Elton John,
alt.
little too weird. Little too alt.
Alt.rock.
What about you, Cam, as the Bernie to Alexei's Elton John? Do you play any video games?
Bernie Taupin, good reference.
Thank you.
See, I'm more into rock and roll shit. That's the kind of shit I like.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like
Welcome
rock
to
and
another episode of Benny and the Jets.
No, I famously, the last video game I ever played was the Rocky game on Xbox.
Great.
And I had a tantrum when my little brother beat me and I refused to ever play a video game again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cam only plays video games based on Best Picture winners.
The Goodfellas ones.
Yeah.
Sadly, Goodfellas lost to Dances with Fools in 1990. Unfortunately, one of the greatest defeats in cinema history.
Crash.
Yeah, the Crash.
Yeah.
Crash Bandicoot. Great trilogy.
Getting beaten by your brother and swearing never to play a video game again that's the backstory to someone who then goes on to win the ultimate video game tournament.
Yes.
Or someone who goes on to write the game.
So we have a bit of game news or gaming related news that I thought you guys might be interested in getting in on, probably within your wheelhouse. So Billy Mitchell, the former world record holder of Donkey Kong, among many other games, featured in the documentary The King of Kong. He had his titles unceremoniously stripped of him by Guinness during the week.
Yeah, he threw like a chair at a bus window and broke it, I'm pretty sure is what happened.
Is
And
that
what, he
real?
had the record
Conor
for that?
McGregor, come on.
I'm so sorry.
He had UFC.
Yeah.
MMA is my religion. Yeah.
You're wearing Tap Out branded glasses.
Yeah. and big gold Venetian things. I realized you said glasses instead of shirts. And I was going to do a glasses thing, but then I caught up and went like, oh no, he said glasses.
Yep.
Guess I'm bailing out of this.
It's cool though. I'm glad you bailed out.
Yeah.
Thanks,
yeah.
man.
You've
And
been
you did it
unceremoniously
so-
stripped from the podcast. Much
Yeah,
like Twin
so
Galaxies
gracefully.
themselves.
This is going to sound really weird when I'm edited out of the whole thing.
Because you'll be the one editing it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Billy Mitchell. I love him. I feel like this just only makes him a bigger icon in many ways. To now be like totally 100% a villain. Yeah, I love it.
Do you reckon he has like sad kind of silly neckties for when he's in mourning? Like the American flag, like that tie is at half mast, like around his neck for the week.
A piano with like only the minor keys.
I think all silly ties are already sad. Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
that's true.
Yeah, that's the undercurrent.
I've always wanted to buy some of his hot sauce.
Yeah, me too.
It's but the shipping prices are insane. I looked it up, and you can't really get it from to sent to Australia, so you have to get it
does Steve Wiebe get anything out of this or no?
Well, the stage is set for a sequel now,
Yeah,
surely.
yeah.
Like, because so much has happened in the
the King of
time
Kong is dead. Long live the King of Kong.
When did that movie come out? It's like 2007 or something
Like that.
It's-
And I think since then, Steve Wiebe is now like 5th or
Right.
something in the world.
Yeah, yeah.
Because a lot of people got way more into Donkey Kong because of that movie.
Yeah.
Right.
So he kind of shot himself in the foot because he got so sad about it.
So what was he? Why did he get it? Was he using like an emulator or something? Is that
using
Yeah.
an emulator, yeah, and that's a violation of Twin Galaxies, which is the forum that kind of collates all that stuff. So they were like,
Right.
this is no good, and so Guinness were like, all right, well, see you, mate.
So was he playing it on an arcade style game, or does that mean he had like a little console and like his own little setup, so you could just relax on a lounge? And
You can get hotter on that mic if you want to.
I can get hotter.
There you go. That's
Hell
it.
yeah,
Dude. Thanks, dude. I've been going to the gym, so I'm hoping I get hotter. So what is an emulator? Does that mean it's on a PC or
So,
something?
like the thing he was using basically plays the game for you, does it frame by
Whoa.
frame perfectly what it and like I think he plays through something, but then if you fuck up, you can rewind and basically do it perfectly.
Oh.
But because he also, even like in the film, he's kind of outed as being a bit of a shithead, right?
Because he
Like-
submitted by tape and stuff like that. From
Yeah.
the
And
That's
then he
right.
made them not allow Steve Wiebe's tape be submitted.
That's
right.
So he
Yeah.
had his little baby son crying in the background.
This whole story is fucking weird too
Yeah.
because it started with a dude who was cheating at some old like Atari 2600 game, a drag racing thing, and they were like, I don't think that score you've posted is like physically possible to
Yeah.
get in the game, and then they proved it wasn't, and he still was like, nah, but I did do it. And then they went into that, and then they were going to get tapes off of somebody, this Twin Galaxies company, and the person who they were going to get tapes from, who was like a judge, had all of his shit held by the government because of child pornography charges,
Good
I
Lord.
believe.
Wow.
So, and I hope it is that since I've said it now. But like it was like all this real weird, like dark shit. So it's a crazy little world we live in.
So wait, this isn't any of the people that are in The King of Kong.
No, these are all separate people who
Right.
just have different records on that Twin Galaxies
Right,
page for
right.
different games. Like they have a whole bunch of things for a whole bunch of different records. And a lot of them were submitted by tapes, and like these guys were friends, and so
Right,
they're just
right.
like, yeah, slip it to me under the table.
Billy Mitchell, he really is like a perfect real life villain.
He's got like a
Incredible.
Darth Vader helmet
Yeah.
hair.
Yeah. Weird hair, makes his own hot sauce, flamboyant fashion sense. Like he's like
And
human.
flammable fashion.
Yeah,
It's
he's
very
human
polyester.
modern Jafar from Aladdin.
Oh,
like
He's so good. I actually think it's honestly, I know it's a documentary, but I know it's a documentary. I know this. I'm aware. But I do think it's the best drama I've ever seen.
It's so great.
I've watched it so many times. It's perfect villain, hero story.
Yep.
And this is the best part of it. They need to make a sequel
they
now.
need
Oh,
to.
for
Yeah.
sure.
I
And
need to see it.
I love that he kind of paints. It's so clear that he paints himself as this all-American Chuck Norris hero.
Yeah.
And I just always think about that moment in the film, like all the time where he's like, yeah, do you know what my three-letter name is? Just guess. The clue's right in front of you. USA. And he just like refuses to say it. He's just trying to make them guess. It's like, you've never heard. So he's like, you've never heard my voice in this movie before. Why would it come in now? It's so weird.
Oh, it's the best.
I need to rewatch that movie. I remember loving it like
Yes.
at the time,
Yeah.
and thinking the same thing of like, oh my god, this is Shakespeare. Like,
It is Shakespeare.
Has he come out and said anything about this? Like, I couldn't. Yeah, the article I'm looking at, there's no statement from him because he seems like he would just be one of those guys that's like so deep into being a freak that none of this would register. Like he wouldn't be going, oh well, I got caught cheating. That's a shame. I guess that's the risk you run.
Yeah.
He seems like a guy who would be doubling down and going,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
nah, this is a fucking
Like
crock
Donald
of shit.
Trump, he'll just come
Yeah.
back harder. Either that, or he'll just disappear into his hot sauce franchise, and we'll never hear from him again.
Those shipping costs.
He'll
Yeah.
sink into a big vat of his hot sauce, like giving a thumbs up as he goes down.
I think those shipping costs might come down because he's not going to have too much else going on. So you might finally be able to get your hands on it. Well, yes, speaking of video game movies, the main
Speaking of
reason...
video games,
Yes.
favourite segue.
The reason we got you two guys on the show today was to talk about the movie Rampage, which came out this week, and so we've all seen it now.
Yep.
And yes, we are still at the point of the comedy festival where we do not have a lot of time to play anything new to talk about on the show.
Yes.
What we do have time to do is sit through a shitty 2-hour-long movie at Hoyt's Melbourne Central.
Oh, yes.
Is that where you guys went?
We
Yeah,
did as well.
did indeed.
Yeah,
Yep.
cool. What cinema number?
11.
Yeah, dude,
Oh my
same as
god,
us.
we were in 11 too.
What seat
Yep.
numbers?
Oh, dude. We were like, what were we, H or something?
Yeah, H,
H11 and 12. Yeah.
We went right at the back.
We were right. I
dude.
could,
We're
I
back
could,
at the back of the bus, boys.
I've never sat that far back where I could see the light of the projector kind of the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
time, and it was very distracting.
See, I love the back row. I always
Man,
go back row.
I think what's the point of going to a movie and sitting at the back because the screen just looks like a TV size?
Yeah.
I think you
well,
got problems
anyway,
with your eyes.
that's our wrap up of Rampage, guys. So, yeah, we really went in depth, and
Yeah.
I hope you guys got a lot out of this.
I technically bought 2 tickets.
Oh, yeah.
Because Ben had already gotten me one but didn't tell me.
Well, you
so
were
I got,
running late.
I know,
like
'cause-
real late.
And then I got there and I bought a ticket, and you were like, "Oh, I already got you a ticket," so I ran even later
This
because
is
I had
exactly what it was like. They were bickering the whole damn time about this.
Like an old married couple.
And I
then
can
I-
imagine, Alexei, you were sweating and nervous,
Just
trying
like,
to keep the
just gonna
peace.
try and make these guys just like each other again. What can I do?
Trying to parent trap them.
Exactly. I brought a little twin just to come hang out with us.
we had to keep yelling at you that we were never your parents.
What did you... I saw a photo. Ben, you posted a photo on Instagram of the three of you, so you had a big old popcorn there,
A
Noxie.
medium popcorn and a medium Coca-Cola that I immediately spilled down my front.
Beautiful.
And
Cool down. The Rock gets it steamy in there. That's what we're saying.
it made me feel
The
real
Rock
sick.
never looked better.
Yeah.
Oh. Hey,
So you and I went yesterday, Cam.
Yes,
We
yes.
went late in the afternoon. You almost ended up missing your own comedy festival show
that's
because
how
of this movie.
much I care about this podcast. When the movie finished, I had 15 minutes before my show started.
Fuck.
So I had to sprint over, and I also needed to piss as well, but I just had to hold it for the whole
Yeah.
hour. of my
Really?
show.
And
Oh,
spilled it
man.
down his front when he got there immediately.
I was getting so antsy in that last 20 minutes, half an hour or so. I
Oh,
was like
God.
squirming around, and I kept checking my phone to look at the time. I was having a little fucking panic attack. Did that distract you at all?
Distracted me a lot. Other people being anxious around me makes me more anxious than they are. So I felt bad. I felt like I had forced this upon you.
Oh,
But
God.
then I was like, no, I told you
Yeah.
that Ben and Adam were going the next morning.
Yeah.
Like there was no reason for you to agree to this if you didn't want to do it. But
Honestly,
I felt
I'm
like
addicted
I
to drama.
just felt so, there was so much drama. I felt so guilty because, you were fidgeting up a storm.
Oh,
it was
man.
incredible.
I couldn't
Cam is one of
handle
the
it.
best fidgeters. We've watched so many shitty fucking movies together over the years where just like the time just starts catching up to him, and he loves getting up and pacing around and
Oh,
just like
no.
checking how much longer's left.
Oh,
I remember
God.
once he did laundry during a movie when we were watching it at his house because he couldn't handle it anymore.
I'm normally very good at this shit, but yeah, whenever I have a deadline, I start honestly having
Yeah.
a little.
Because I noticed at the start of the movie, you were like, you were still
You were
as a
rock solid.
Yeah.
You were rock solid.
Rock
You were-
hard.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson solid.
Yeah.
You were very like because I'm a bit of a fidgeter.
Yeah.
Like my default is like bit fidgety. You were just perfectly still. Then all of a sudden, you crossed the line where you were tossing and turning. You were checking your watch, then you were checking your phone, as if there was like a time difference between the two of them.
Yeah,
you
I
were
couldn't
rolling
handle it.
around in your seat. You were slowly slumping down. Like by the end, you were basically horizontal.
I know. I really started to get anxious. I really did.
When the
Cam's
movie
got crank disease where his heart stopped if he doesn't add a little bit of adrenaline at every
I have to
few
get
hours.
laid every hour.
when
only way.
when the movie ended, did you just run off? Like
We leisurely walked out,
why?
but then I sprinted as soon as I parted from Tommy.
Yeah, I knew what was
Yeah.
going on. I knew what was going on, so my plan was to go use the toilets at the cinema. So I was
Yeah.
walking slowly, and then I kind of stopped you. I stopped you at the top of the escalator to continue a conversation that we were having.
Yeah.
And I knew what I was doing.
And then,
By that point, I was
thanks
just
a
like,
lot, man.
trying to get one back on you for ruining what up until you started fidgeting was the best movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, I am sorry. Hey, you know what also looks good? Did you guys get the trailer for Skyscraper?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we did.
We walked in 20 minutes late, and that was playing.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was very confusing because also watching this movie, we had kind of an opposite viewing to you guys, where I think at different points the three of us all dozed off. And so there were points where I would wake up and go, like, I'd get confused with what I had already seen and what was part of Skyscraper. And then also at points like he's dressed like the Jumanji guy, and I start thinking about that movie, and it was just too much altogether.
Yeah.
At one point during the Skyscraper trailer, Lex, I didn't know what movie it was going to be. It just showed him with like a fake leg,
Yeah.
and he'd lost a limb in the war or something, and his
Yeah.
wife was like, "It's going to be okay." And I thought that this was a new dramatic movie starring.
Me
the Rock.
too.
And
Yes.
I
Man.
said to Tommy, "Is this a drama?" I got
Yeah.
so excited that there was a new rock drama coming.
Because we were talking about that the other day,
Yeah.
and like The Rock has not done anything serious. He's never had the opportunity to not look down the camera if he needs to. It's like, I want to see a serious movie. I'm like, holy shit, this looks fucking awful. Good on him. He's making a crappy Oscar run drama, and then I thought at either some point something's going to blow up.
As soon
he's
as
going
they
to kill
said
someone.
he's a security expert,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought either that or was going to reveal it was like a goofy movie parody. Like he's like, wait a second, now I'm the Tooth Fairy?
Yeah. Hold on, the new leg you're giving me has the soul of a criminal in it. It's because I think he can't be in drama things because when The Rock wears normal people clothing, he looks fucking ridiculous.
He does. Yeah.
Him
You
in
have
that
to-
suit in that trailer is
Yeah.
the dumbest looking human being.
You have to find a way to justify in the plot, like why this normal
Why is he
accountant is just
giant?
absolutely shredded
Yeah.
beyond belief. But Cam, you laid your soul open to me. You, in a moment of vulnerability,
Yeah.
you didn't know what was going on the screen. You asked me if this was a drama. In
Yeah.
all earnestness, cut to me every 15 minutes during Rampage, turning to you and going, "Is this a drama?"
Getting roasted. And I'm just trying to connect with George the Ape on screen and this fucking cunt next to me.
I honestly think I
Brutal.
said the exact same thing to Knox during
really?
the trailer.
I heard you say, "Is this a drama?"
Yeah, 'cause I got so excited
You guys
for
are
it.
just
Something like that.
connected. You're
Yeah.
just always connected.
We have spent a little too much time together. A little too much time.
Was the shock of finding out that it's not a drama what caused you to spill that Coke all down your shirt? Oh, God, it's an action movie. They had me going there.
I wish it had a reason. I just tried to drink it. We should say as well when we're talking about this movie, if anyone does want to see it, that we're going to be talking about the whole thing.
I said to you before, Knox, it feels like an unspoilable movie.
Yes,
But,
Yeah.
but I reckon it's worth going for a fun afternoon. So if you want to do that, go and do it and then listen to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so this is based on a video game from 1986. Now, have you guys, Alexei and Cam, have you played this game before?
No, but I am kind of familiar with it.
Right. Yeah.
I know that it's about three monsters in the city.
Was it a Donkey Kong ripoff? Is it the same thing where you're at the top of a building and something big is climbing up to you and you have to knock it off or something?
You're the monsters, and you're
yes.
trying to
Oh,
smash up
cool.
the city.
Yeah. Yeah.
Turns out the humans were the monsters all along.
So yeah, they haven't made a new one of these in many. I think they made one in like 2006 for the Wii.
Oh,
maybe.
yes.
So
Yeah, I
this
think you're
movie's been
right.
in development since 2009.
Has it really?
Yeah.
Well, it shows.
Yeah.
It
yeah.
felt like 2009 watching this. Sure.
So should we just go through it like beat by beat, kind of? I guess.
First,
Yeah.
I just want to say congratulations to The Rock. You made another movie, baby. Good work.
Yeah. More money in the skyrocket
Yeah.
for old DJ. So we open with a bit of text explaining that this
The
company's
dumb. I
crawl.
immediately laughed.
Yes.
Yes.
I laughed because that came up, and then Cam next to me very loudly went, "Yes, a crawl."
And And the thing that the genetic editing whatever thing is called CRISPR.
Yes,
That's what made me laugh.
That sounds like a new KFC burger.
The fucking worst dating app.
Yeah, you keep your vegetables in the CRISPR.
Yeah, it's so good.
Fuck.
I can't even remember what it said, but it was something along the lines of they developed it to cure diseases, but then the government identified it as a weapon of mass destruction.
Yes.
And so it got confiscated by the government.
Imagine no more cancer. It'll be fucking chaos. Yeah. We need to shut this thing down. So then we see like a bit of a prologue thing of just the explanation of needing this canisters of this whatever it is, this experiment to be thrown to the three corners of the earth.
This movie starts in space.
Why did you go, oh yes, as if you saw it like 3 years ago? Like you've come straight from the cinema.
I forgot. And I at the end of it, I was like, I love this. I really like that dumb prologue. I don't know why.
Really?
I really liked it.
Do you think it was cool that instead of an alien or something, it was just a giant rat?
Big rat.
It's the dumbest looking rat, too.
It's crazy.
But the rat looked fucking cool.
I thought it looked
dude.
cool. It was really tense, and I think it's because the music was so obnoxiously loud.
Yeah.
I was genuinely on edge.
There's a lot of like loud trumpet action movie music in this action movie.
This is the
Who'd have
thing
thought?
with these movies now, are they really getting like a new score done for everyone? It honestly always just sounds like the exact same 3 tracks.
Could just be reused from San Andreas or something.
Yeah.
They're all
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah.
The rat was so dumb.
I agree.
When it was like a fucked up spaceship and the camera's panning through it, I'm like, this is kind of interesting. Let's see what's happening.
Dead body floats.
Yeah.
past
It
us.
seems like
Body.
that digital floating CGI blood. I'm
Yeah.
like, I love that shit.
And it's all spherical because it's in space.
Swim through
But
that. I
then
want to
when
get
it's
into that.
revealed that it's just a rat that got big.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, okay. Well, at least I know what kind of movie I'm watching.
But it looks like
Yeah.
the rat isn't even that big
No.
compared to her. Like if she was on the ground, it'd just be like a dog that you could like kick away with if you
it's
needed
just
to. It's just the fact that it's zero gravity and it can like fucking
Fly.
Like it would be about the same carnage that a loose dog on a space station would cause as well. It's like, oh, there's fucking dogs kicking all the
That
instruments.
Brazilian capybara, you know, that giant guinea pig.
yeah.
It's just one of those, just floating around. It's like, get me away from it. It's too big. It's bigger than it's meant to be.
So then we see The Rock and his three.
Well, so she has to grab the things,
yeah.
and
Yeah,
they make
yeah.
her grab the canisters before they'll let her leave.
We hear someone
Which is some
ordering her to.
Corrupt shit. Let her
man.
out.
Yeah.
They put up red flags for me, honestly. But then she like jettisons out, but her spaceship or her like escape pod blows up, and those 3 canisters fly off.
fall to earth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool.
So then we see The Rock in the zoo where he works.
Fucking John Cena's standing in the middle of the jungle again, like in every movie, and CM Punk like walks up and there's like 3 people behind him, and the dude in the party is being annoying.
Yeah, the young dude.
The young guy.
the young
yeah.
Turk.
His line.
This is the first weird thing about this movie. So he's there with like, who are those 3 guys? They're like students of The Rock.
2 of them
or-
are students. One of them's like an assistant.
He's
or
assistant,
something.
yeah. So he's like
Yeah.
kind of teaching them about like gorillas in packs
Gorillas,
and everything like
yeah.
that.
And there's
But
this young
he starts with a joke.
guy.
The student guy is like, "Yeah, I've been to Uganda. I
Yes.
did a bunch of cool shit over there. It was pretty great." And The Rock like puts his fist up to be like, "Hey, buddy,
Stop.
Stop. There's danger afoot.
And then he's like, "This guy's telling porky pies."
Yeah.
And it's just like
This guy's dropping a lot of monkey shit. Is the exact line.
That's the exact line.
And
then-
everyone absolutely fucking loses their mind with laughter.
People in the
cinema
hilarious. Yeah.
Did
people
they?
did laugh.
yeah.
Because the 3 of us were very not laughing.
Yeah,
at any
were you
point in
guys
this
all
movie.
asleep by this point? You just tuck it out
dozed
after that
off.
space scene.
I think we
Dozed
laughed, but
off.
we laughed at how lame it was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This movie made me kind of endear itself to me
What?
by how
Tommy, don't start picking him up on this. You will
I
not stop.
was endeared to this movie because it had quite a few jokes and not a single one landed. It's like,
Yeah.
man, I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been that guy. And
Well,
just seeing that just go.
I agree with you for 99.9% of it, but
Oh, yeah.
we'll get to something that
There's a
happens at the
huge-
very
a
end
huge
that
joke.
I think
Oh, no.
that I
Big
think
hit.
we will all agree very much landed. But anyway, that's jumping ahead. But so The weirdest thing about this little trio that he has with him, it's kind of set up like, oh, okay, the four of them are going to be on this adventure together.
They'll be the heroes of the
They're
story.
little
And after this
They're
scene,
fellowship.
we just never see these three again.
They're clearly in the fucking jungle here too, and then they walk up and they're just in a zoo.
San Diego Zoo.
They're in deep jungle. There's like mist and shit in the air, and then they walk over and it's like, oh no, there's a car park nearby. It's the weirdest way to get into the gorilla enclosure. But then they're looking at the gorillas, the like younger males beating his chest, and you're like, here's the gorilla for the film. Then a bigger gorilla shows up.
Big albino boy,
Big
who
whitey.
is called George, and The Rock has taught him sign language, and he's The Rock's little
And
buddy.
George has a wicked sense of humor.
George is a bit of a rascal.
Yeah.
He is a
The
rascal.
Rock refers to his sense of humor as twisted at the end of the episode.
Yeah, he
literally
does. He literally does.
He's like the Joker.
What at this point was what I really zoned in on, because I'll go on the record right now. I dislike The Rock's acting. I don't like seeing him on screen. Give another gig to Paul Giamatti or someone. Get The Rock out of there. Get a guy who's trained up in acting. But the Rock, I find him so false that when he was acting against like this CGI ape, I'm like, this is the same if anyone else was in the scene. His performance would not change at all. It's just exactly the same thing, because that's how he learns. He probably just looks at himself in the mirror and says all the lines out. Sorry, baby. I'm a critic. I'll roast The Rock.
I think he's fine.
I think he's fine as well.
He does portray. He's very empathetic to watch. He's got a good presence. I thought he was good being sweet to the monkey in there.
I think I liked it more because he was like, well, there's no one else suffering in this scene with him. having to act against him. It's just like, nah, he's good. He's putting it all out there.
Did they have like an Andy Serkis type of person though, being the ape?
There's a dude who's credited with being the ape.
Yeah, right.
And it wasn't Andy Serkis.
No.
That's crazy.
He must be fucking spewing, fuming at this.
My favorite bit of this scene was The Rock is doing sign language to both of the gorillas, and at one point he signs the sentence something like, his family was taken by poachers, but he just does the most simple. He just goes like, his family was taken by poachers.
No way this is real sign language.
No way.
Absolutely no way.
All of them, everything that he's communicating is him banging his fists together once.
It's like, is it like Chinese where it's like one character can be like a whole sentence? Like that's what they seem to think sign language is. Like, touch your finger once, that's your life story. Done and dusted.
Yeah, and then this gorilla who has the facial expressions of a man starts like fucking around with him and gives him the finger.
That's the thing. So the whole thing of this is like this gorilla mutating and being really scary. It's already kind of fucked even before that happens. Like it knows what flipping the bird is.
I know.
It's got a weird overly human face.
It laughs.
It laughs.
It looks like fucking Ron Perlman, dude. But also in that scene, it's set up that like, the crazy thing about this movie, it does so much to set up, this is the family at the zoo. This is our little ecosystem here. This is their tribe. And he's talking about, like, you got to be careful of Pee-wee or whatever the other monkey's name
Bobo
is.
or something.
And he says as well, he goes, like, his family was killed by poachers. Remember that white gorilla, George.
And like George, you got to look after him. You know, he's part of your tribe now. Like it's going to come back up in the movie and be like part of like an emotional arc. Never comes up again.
And he doesn't even.
They do reference family again at the end.
They reference it
very
familiar.
familiar.
I don't get why he doesn't just kill those other gorillas in the movie as well instead of the bear.
Yeah,
because they just kill a bear that you don't care about. Because like, who's this bear?
It's too much.
It might have made us hate George if he killed that little one.
But he hates himself for having done it.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I reckon this movie should have taken some risks.
It's true. It's like a ballless movie. That makes so much sense for them to kill Pee-wee or whatever.
And there were a couple of points.
Stop saying Pee-wee.
I don't know his name.
I'm happy to just stick with Pee-wee. Let's make that our official party line. The gorilla's name is Pee-wee.
And then all the characters who fucking
the human
Stone Cold
characters.
Steve Austin is interacting with. There's no reason for them to be there. The girl comes up and is like, "Hey, I'd fuck you tonight." And he's like, "No, I'm going."
That's when I knew she wasn't going to be a lead character in the movie.
So
At first I thought she was, and then she bounces into the shot And I went, oh, they're just going to make her be someone who wants to fuck The Rock.
So then she's literally not in the movie again. So her sole purpose for being in the movie is to get across the exposition that The Rock hates other people.
Yeah.
Brutal
The Rock
for her.
won't fuck. He refuses to
The
fuck.
Rock never fucks. The Rock is such a virgin in movies.
Yeah, you leaned over and said that to me.
I was like, The Rock is such a virgin. The guy, he's got no sexual presence in
I
movies.
said that to Tommy after the movie too. I said he's like clearly
About
a
me, though.
handsome guy. I said this guy never fucks.
Well, and they hammered it home with that woman saying that, and then the nerdy glasses guy was like, "Women find you very attractive."
Yeah.
Like,
I love a
it's
movie that has to spell out that the guy's hot in it. I
But
love
in
that.
Fast and Furious as well, the last one where Rock is like teaching his daughters how to do soccer, and the soccer moms are all trying to fuck him.
That's
He
true.
just brushes them off. The guy, there's like this weird kind of just like psychological thing, philosophical thing where The Rock just like wants women to be attracted to him, but then refuses to fuck them.
It's the same as Tom Cruise in all his
Yeah.
movies. He's very asexual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's maybe to be more broadly appealing.
I think it's
don't
an
know.
American puritanical thing, if I had to guess, where they
Right.
want you to be sexually attractive, but then also
safe
don't be
as well.
interested in
Yeah.
sex.
Because teenagers are going to go see this movie, so it's the same way a teenager can go watch Twilight and go, Rob Pattinson's hot, but he can't fuck her because he's a vampire. That's
but
cool.
remember, like blockbusters and stuff and action movies, like there would be, there'd be some tits in there at some point.
They'd
For
sweat
a
it up.
13-year-old male audience.
Yeah.
Oh, when Kurt Russell was an action star, he was just like a fuck man.
Yeah, yeah.
He was fucking man.
Yeah, Steven Seagal was always getting his dick off.
Steven Seagal ripped his dick off in a movie and handed it to a woman. The Rock would never do that.
And it's also like it's good that that no longer is like, oh, the action hero is cool because he fucked this girl.
Yeah,
but then
sure.
still having your cake and eating it too, of being like, the girl wants to fuck him, but
Yeah.
But I'm genuinely surprised once we're jumping ahead a bit, but into the later scene in the city where the gorilla is like terrorizing the city, that there's no like
The
him
Rampage.
peeking in through a bathroom window and
Yeah.
just a girl in the shower and her screaming and the gorilla going,
yeah.
That would have happened if it was made in the 90s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
agreed.
That's the
Yeah.
other thing. Every time this gorilla laughs, this motherfucker sounds like Tim the Toolman Taylor. Did you guys notice that?
Yes,
No.
I
Like,
did.
why would
Sounds
The Rock
like
not
Tim
be
the Taylor-
going?
Toolman Taylor looks like Al. White bearded Al. Yeah.
okay,
so
so-
the canisters they land all over Earth. 3 of them, and
all over Earth. All over Wyoming. San Diego.
and some
Dakota,
other
I
place.
think, yeah.
And
It does make sense that they only landed on one side
Oh,
of the Earth.
Florida is the other one because
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah.
the
Gator boy.
One of them is
Yeah.
in this San Diego zoo that, as far as we know, has 2 enclosures.
yes.
Yeah.
It's got a gorilla and a couple
Gorilla and
bears.
bear.
Just a bunch of crying kids walking home going like, that zoo sucked.
It's actually the same zoo as Anchorman, dude. It's the
Oh,
same
yeah.
zoo, dude.
which also features the bear, right?
yeah.
Maybe it's that bad.
That poor bear, man. He got sliced up. He got sliced up.
First Baxter had a go at it in Anchorman.
Oh, yeah. Fuck.
And now fucking George.
Georgie boy.
Georgie boy.
Yeah, so
What a
they
nasty bitch.
They land and like a wolf sniffs one.
Yep.
It goes into a creek and
yeah.
the
Gator gets
You see a
it.
gator gobble it up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or it's
That's right.
implied. It's
And then
under-
George.
They didn't get an underwater camera for this movie, despite one of the leading characters being an underwater creature.
Well, it's like
you
Jaws.
never, yeah.
You got to keep the croc
Yeah.
under the
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
So we
it's
don't
like Jaws,
see-
and it's George, baby. It makes sense. You can hear it.
and they gobble him up. And the next morning, Rock is he comes in and there's a call. George
Yeah.
ain't well.
Yes.
And they go and have a look, and he's killed a bear, and he's all huddled up in a cave, and he's bigger.
And so saying it is George ain't well, and then them going and seeing a bear corpse. It's
Yeah.
like, wow, you were really underselling this when you said
Yeah.
George ain't well.
And then they're like, he comes, you see George, and he's like shivering and scared in this cave, and then he emerges from the cave. Not unlike Jesus, I guess. But then when he comes out, and he's just like, he's bigger. I'm like, I've got no idea
No.
if he's bigger.
Look, I had no
the
idea.
same size.
They
to
have
me,
to
yeah.
say it. One of
Yeah.
them says he's
Yeah.
definitely bigger, right?
Because
And
the
one goes,
guy-
oh yeah, he's absolutely
The
bigger.
glasses guy is uncertain. He
Yeah.
just sort of has a little.
Yeah.
Is it just me or is he bigger? And The Rock just immediately, he's definitely bigger.
I couldn't tell, and that's maybe a big problem I had with this movie is that he wasn't big enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
agreed.
Well, and then
Agreed.
his size fluctuated, it seemed like to me. Like at the
Well, he
end.
got
man, that
gradually
happens.
bigger.
And he's
I'm the
bit-
same.
I thought he was going to get like King Kong style big. I
Yes.
really thought he was going to be like Kong.
But
And then
he's-
when he's at
and
the
he's-
top of that building, he's pretty fucking big.
Yeah,
by that time.
yeah, you're
But when
right,
he's
he
throwing
is
the
big.
tanks around, he's smaller than
But
that.
the
Right.
wolf is a smaller creature in its normal form than a gorilla is in its normal form. The wolf is a humongous Goliath beast.
Yeah.
And then this guy is like just like maybe the size of my house, a little bit smaller.
Why do you think they did that? I think it's because they
Model the
knew
gorilla
that he
on
was going
Alexi's
to... Spoiler alert, they knew he was going to survive the movie and they thought it would be too freakish if there was now just a gigantic gorilla.
There's only
What
so
are we going to do for the sequel? Make him small again? I don't think so.
you can only have like so big of an animal that you can relate to.
Maybe
Like if he
that's
was
it.
the size of a
Right.
skyscraper, you'd be like, I don't give a shit if
he's
he
a
means
monster.
well.
I hope he dies,
Yeah.
That scale worked for me because like we've got King Kong. Like I kind of liked that their size was like big, but a bit more like believable.
We've got King
sort of-
Kong.
Yeah.
We've explored that
Kong.
space.
But I would argue we
there's more
already
stories
have
to tell.
Mighty Joe Young as well. Why are we going to go to that side?
But he was
Yeah.
about Mighty Joe Young's
Yeah,
size.
yeah.
But you know what does fluctuate is his rate of expansion. So
Yeah.
he grows like 5 feet in the space of about 6 hours.
He grows based
And
on the
then-
plot demands,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, and then just chills out for like a day.
Yeah.
You don't need to really grow. Now I'm on this plane. Might put a few more fucking meters in the can, I reckon.
Fit in a plane.
It's weird how every time he grows in size, he blows into his thumb like it's a balloon, and then starts inflating.
Alex, he really likes that one.
He loves balloon humor.
I love inflatable humor. I love it.
We go
Yeah,
over.
like weird French music plays as he's doing
Yeah.
it. It's weird shit.
Is this where those two villains in the tower are introduced?
Oh,
Yes.
my God.
Yeah, right.
Good.
These
Yeah.
So
These-
Malin Ackerman and
Yep.
who's the actor?
So
No
Jake
idea.
Lacey, who
some
I never-
SNL
Girls.
fucking reject. I kept
he was
thinking
on Girls.
Was he?
Oh, right.
Girls.
Yeah.
He's in
He's
the
in
last
the-
season of The American Office,
The
which I haven't
Office.
seen. But
he plays
yeah.
like the baby version of John
Oh,
Krasinski.
shit, he is.
A-list director.
Yeah, man, that guy fucking sucks. He's
So-
really bad in this movie. This dude.
I'm just looking at his Wikipedia. He's in Obvious Child, which I have seen, but I can't
yeah.
remember him in it.
Right.
He's
Yeah, he's
the-
the romantic lead in that. I
he's
like
the
that.
guy
Right.
that
See, I thought
does the deed with her.
I thought as I was watching this, I've never seen this guy in anything, and I think he's a genuinely terrible actor.
He was bad.
Based on, but I don't know, like
So they've gotten their wires crossed, and this guy has got his like goofy meter turned up to 11.
yeah. So he's
Jim
been
Carrey
in
in
good
this
stuff.
movie.
He's, yeah.
Yes.
It seems like he's just getting bad direction or whatever. 'Cause
Yeah.
he's appalling.
His timing's off. Like he seems to miss cues a little bit as well. Like he's
Well,
it
I
was
guess
off-putting.
they're supposed to be comic relief, I guess, aren't they? Well, he is sort
He
of.
kind of, yeah.
He's like the
I've got
villain
no
who's
idea.
a dumbass and he's like embarrassed and he's bad at his job and
Well, see,
And he's
initially
like
I
kind of a
thought-
Wall
always
Street
eating.
bro at the
I
same
think-
time.
I thought he was meant to be like a Christian Bale American Psycho, like real
Yeah.
hard-ass business guy. But yeah, you're right. He just starts bumbling and mumbling around and stuff.
Yeah.
He's a real fumbly dude,
Yeah.
and like when they hire The Rock, the problem is they go like, okay, we've got $84 more to hire the rest of the
Yeah.
actors.
yeah.
But him being like kind of goofy comic relief is so weird because that guy who's in the first scene, who's like trying to like be real alpha about going to Uganda, he's kind of set up
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh, this is going to be this
The
kind of
goofer.
goofy ass guy that The
Yeah.
Rock's going to have to keep pulling up. But then he literally is just not seen again.
And
Yeah.
for as bad as this guy is, for my money, he's not the worst performance in the film.
This
he's
guy?
coming up later. Yeah, this guy is bad.
I reckon he's the worst.
Well,
I reckon he's.
I-
you think
would
there's a
agree.
worse
There's a
performer in the
certain
movie?
scenery chewing cowboy who shows up.
See, I like
Honestly,
this.
I like the cowboy. This guy's chewing way more scenery for me.
Oh, but it's. I understand why he's meant to be like goofy comic relief. The cowboy, I don't understand anything about why he was a cowboy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
And he was
I-
just constantly leaning
All right,
back.
we're going to the cowboy
Let's just go
now.
Okay,
cowboy.
should we
Alright.
jump in?
Cowboy.
Oh,
What else-
actually, just very quickly, can I say
Yeah.
this? I don't know if any of you guys noticed this, but
There's
in
a Rampage
one of these,
arcade machine.
yes,
Yeah.
in their
Yeah,
office,
I noticed
Out of
What the
focus
fuck's
in the
going on
I
here?
background.
scoffed at that.
Yeah, what?
Too much inside joke, and also breaks the world of the movie.
Yes,
It took me
agreed.
out of it.
Yeah,
It
if it
is
exists in this
very
world,
weird.
how come when those monsters start going nuts, no one's like, "Oh shit, this is like the
So
video
much
game
like
Rampage."
Yeah.
Are you getting a load of this?
We must play the game to unlock the secrets.
Are we watching Ready Player One here?
So
Yeah,
is the
there's like a really
implication-
quiet child somewhere playing the game,
Yeah.
and he's mentally linked to these animals somehow.
So is the implication here that they love the video game so much, and they're like, "This gives us an idea"? Because that's so. We should quickly say here that it deviates wildly from the plot. Like, so weird to license a video game and then use basically none of the key plot elements.
They
so in
always
the game,
seem to do that, though. Those Resident Evil movies with that as well, where it's like,
Doom.
we'll take the
Super
name.
Mario Brothers.
Yeah. So in the
Fuck
game,
yeah.
the monsters are all humans that have been transformed into these animals in like lab explosions and stuff like that.
Oh, right.
And the game, you have to knock down all the buildings in a level, and so it's like them crossing the country doing that. Basically, none of those elements are here.
They do a little bit of the dumb American sightseeing stuff of like, the wolves at Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't
True.
break Mount Rushmore down.
No, he just
The
walks
ending
near it.
Of the movie should have been, we must commission George as the new head on Mount Rushmore.
yeah.
for saving the day.
Well, I'll say quickly, like, my main thought of this is, this could have been such a sick movie because like in the game, in the artwork for the game, they're all kind of like radical kind of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle-y looking characters.
Like Bebop, Rocksteady type things.
If the monkey had like sunglasses and the wolf had like a backwards cap and they had been like weird, radical, like humanized people, that would have been...
The monsters didn't have enough attitude for you.
Yeah, that would have been a cool fucking movie.
monsters
The
were
gorilla
not unleashed
flips
enough.
people off. That's pretty attitudey.
That's true.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Shit, I didn't know that. So, what is the point of licensing the name of the?
I think they
brand?
just had it years ago. Like someone just bought a fuckload of whatever companies
Midway.
rights.
Right.
Yeah, they
And so they got
acquired
like
Midway or
Mortal
something.
Kombat and all that sort of shit.
right,
They're
right.
Is
like,
Spy
we
Hunter
got it.
Midway as well?
Could be.
I think it is because The Rock was in a Spy Hunter game for Xbox, I think.
Yeah, right.
And it was just like a new Spy Hunter, and it's just him as like this shitty James Bond driving the car, and that's it. So it's weird to me they never made that film.
Right.
Because it sounds like
Not
the
yet.
shitty movie he would be in.
But because there's like 3 Rock action movies a year,
Yeah.
it'll come.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank God.
He'll just do every single one of them at some point. It's going to be Cooking Mama with The Rock.
So the feds turn up to take George away. They put
Yeah.
him on a plane, and the
Well, he
Rock...
smashes out of the zoo.
Out of the zoo,
first.
yeah.
Oh, there's a whole other character that we haven't mentioned
Oh yeah,
yet.
so then we
Naomi
meet.
Harris.
Yeah,
Into the movie, she's
Dr.
there.
Crandall, what was it? Dr.
Yeah, that'll do.
Something like that.
Dr. Crandall.
Caldwell. Kate Caldwell.
That's
Caldwell.
I
it.
don't know why I
Caldwell.
remember that.
Ex-scientist who worked at the company that made this genetics
Energyne.
thing. Energyne.
Energina.
What can we make it that sounds like the Terminator? That movie was fucking cool.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
By the way, the boardroom, like the evil kind of like siblings' office, nothing in a movie sticks out more as obvious set dressing than like trying to like let's make a room that a billionaire lives in.
Yeah.
And it just always looks like tacky and like
looks like
IKEA.
Frasier's apartment.
Yeah.
It's like
It's got the
random
little
sculptures.
the little magnetic balls that hit together.
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
desk.
There
I
are a
reckon
bunch
they
of
must have been a
TVs.
late in production addition, those two characters.
Yeah.
Because they rarely leave that room.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
they're pretty much only in that room. At a certain point in production, somebody's gone, we need villains.
It
Yeah.
looked bad too. I kept thinking of SNL for some reason. Every time they were on, it was like a bad SNL sketch.
Right.
Just because that dude beating up the sculpture at first, and she's like, it cost us tens of billions of dollars plus the 8,000 of the sculpture you just
Yeah.
ruined.
That's right.
Yeah. And well, because Malin Ackerman, she's in one of my favorite comedy series of all time, Children's Hospital, and
Yeah.
she's fucking
Right.
good in that.
Yeah.
She kind of plays it straight, but is very kind of absurd as well. And in this, it's just fucking way over the top and
She's the
stupid.
villain. She's the true villain of the movie.
And I didn't mind it towards the end when she was like actually being a little villainy.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think just having that goofball next to her kept making her seem like a dickwad.
Well,
Yes.
I think it's just as well they were only given the job to be expository, like they're just explaining what's happening in the movie.
Yeah.
So it stops this fucking movie in its tracks
Yes.
every
Yeah,
time they
that's
come on
true.
screen.
Yep.
And it's just so boring because everything else they're looking at this crazy monkey. You're looking at The Rock, which is not that bad. but it's just like stops everything so poorly in its tracks.
Yeah, I think that's
and
true.
there's 7 different moments in the film where it
yeah.
just like as soon as it's gaining some momentum,
It happens.
it just
They have to
comes
cut away and go,
crashing
so
to
let
a
me
halt."
get this straight.
Yeah.
We need
This-
to make sure this movie's over 2 hours long. Let's
Yeah.
go see these guys again.
Yeah, I couldn't believe there was a half-hour stretch in the middle there of just The Rock and this Katie Caldwell just getting to know each other. I got
Yeah.
so fucking tired.
Yeah, that sucked. So
Especially when you know The Rock ain't gonna fuck.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
This movie would be amazing if it was like 45 minutes long.
Yes.
Like,
If
If
would
it was
be
an
amazing.
climax.
The third act of it,
experience.
I didn't mind the entire third act until like the
Same.
very end.
Yeah.
When it delivered on what it promised itself.
So
to be.
the first speed hump is like us seeing these two siblings for the first time. Then we get to the next speed hump, which is them being taken away and put on the plane.
Well, and so she
By
kind
the
of
feds.
explains some stuff to it and lies to the Bella twins about what has happened and all that stuff. And then Thingo breaks out of the cage.
Yes.
George breaks out, and that was my favorite part because he kept banging on the thing.
You've got
and
Cam with something.
the concrete is visibly smashing.
WWE stuff.
The concrete is visibly smashing as the gorilla hits on it.
Yeah.
It's obviously going to break, and the Rock,
Yeah.
they zoom into his face. He's like, it's not going to hold. Like he's got a fucking spidey sense.
The very next scene, George smashes through the wall. Shit goes everywhere. The Rock walks in and goes, "Get back!"
Yeah. And then he yells, "Call 911," and then the cops show up, and he's like, "No!"
Yeah, he's furious the cops are there.
It's so weird.
Who ratted him out? That thing of him going, it's not going to hold. That's dialogue that you'd have him do if you didn't have the money to like show the effects
Yeah.
of like the wall breaking.
Yeah.
You don't need to
Yeah,
do like
exactly.
doing both is just like so. That's an early sign where you're like, oh, this is actually offensive how I'm being treated as an audience member.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
movie
Every
thinks I'm
second-
fucking dumb as shit.
Every second fucking thing, and like the most heavily implied things, and then they have the glasses guy go, "She wants to fuck you."
Yes.
It's the
Yeah, in
weirdest.
that very first scene with all the human characters and the guys doing the Uganda stuff and the Rock's doing the analogy about the gorillas,
Yeah.
the glasses guy goes, "I think he's talking about you."
Yeah, I know.
It's nuts. And every second word that comes out of the Rock's mouth is like a bad. I need a drink. All those ones.
This movie, I reckon, has every like tropey action movie line, like him near the end when he like goes off and the girl saying to him, "Just promise me you won't die." Like, it's just littered with stuff like that.
You know the one that killed you and I is when we finally see the giant crocodile emerge from the water and it zooms in on the Rock's face and he goes, well, that sucks.
That's the thing. All of the ones he's doing aren't fun.
Yeah.
They're
Like
just the
first
most.
draft placeholder line.
And they're delivered so. And every part of this where they go into like the sort of awkward comedy, especially him and Dr. Krangen.
Yes.
They are just the
What
most
wrestler is that?
annoying. Like, did you get the door? No, I didn't get the door. Why did I get the door? Or like, I was going to knock him out. I was going to knock that guy out. But you can deal with that in other ways than knocking people out. Yeah, but it's not as fun. Like all of those bits are terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then they take George away on this plane.
Yeah, and they also that they take for some like they bind up. They've done nothing wrong, but they bind up Dr. Kringo and Mankind, and they take them onto the onto
Which
the
has got to
plane.
run out soon.
That's a good. Let's remember that the Rock's hands are bound.
They are bound, and it's impossible to get out of a police binding. You would assume.
Yeah, and so we meet Cowboy for the first time.
this
Yeah.
fucking
Whose name
dude.
was what again? Jeffrey Dean Morgan. That's the actor's
Jeffrey Dean
name.
Morgan.
Yeah,
And I think he was doing his best Walton Goggins impression.
Yeah,
I feel like
basically George W. Bush was the character.
I honestly feel like they would have written
Yeah.
it for Walton Goggins.
Yeah,
I
that's
feel
a
like it
great
was
call.
written for him, but then they went,
And also-
let's get someone else from TV.
Too busy
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
Tomb Raider,
Too busy doing
another
Tomb
video
Raider.
game movie in production.
Yeah.
But another TV actor.
written for him. And for him to do badly, and like there was that character fucking sucked.
Yeah.
I hated
He
the
had some of the funniest lines.
but that like the sort of smug, like overconfident agent type character is
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the most boring. And he's leaning back and he's like, I'm always one step ahead.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
this old cowboy's gonna move
He
on
just
down
keeps
the
calling
range.
himself a cowboy.
This killed you and I when he goes, as my grandpappy used to say to me.
Yeah, he died at that.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what he said after
It was like
that. but it was
everyone's an asshole.
Yes.
Something
Yeah.
like that.
bullshit, fake Southern thing
Yes.
read by someone who's never been like any further
Yeah.
south than
Yeah.
fucking South Central.
You know he's a cowboy because he's got a big belt buckle and a gun prominent in the
Right
belt at all
next to his
times.
And a gun
Yeah.
that they absolutely would not let him have if he worked for any government agency.
It's like this
It's a
pearl
six-shooter.
handle,
Yeah.
pearl handle, like Desert Eagle or six-shooter, very cowboy gun that is never once taken out of the holster.
No.
I reckon
Yeah.
it's just the handle.
It was
that's just
definitely an
cold.
actor's decision. He had
Yes.
made that choice.
Every
Yeah.
time they cut to him, he like does the thing where he gets his jacket back and shows the
Yeah,
gun.
yeah.
Just every single time.
That would make this character make sense to me if it was just written as an FBI agent, and then he showed up and he's like, "I want to be a cowboy, baby. Kid Rock me up. I'm
They
gonna
should
be."
have gone the whole hog. Have him in a 10-gallon hat and the what's the tie called? That's the
bolo
little-
tie.
Like one more piece of it every time we see him in a new scene, and by the end he's riding a horse up with stirrups and shit.
Final shot, he's literally Yosemite Sam. He's like shrunk about 3 feet. He's got a huge ginger moustache.
Crocodile like bites him on the butt and he hops away.
Bullet hole through the hat. Detective Bubble O'Bill is on the case.
I also
The ultimate cowboy.
Because he's like, his horse is black, his suit's black, and it's just he would always show the gun. In my mind, I kept on thinking it's just tucked into the front of his pants. It's the way that he kept on showing it off. It's like, is he trying to be sexy with this thing?
He's definitely trying to be sexy.
Yes.
He really thinks he's hot stuff, this
And it
guy.
fucking worked,
And he is.
man.
I got to give it to him. He's good
The
looking
cinema
dude.
was swooning when
He's
we saw
sexier
it.
than The Rock.
I don't know. Nobody in the movie said that anyone found him attractive, so I don't know if he was.
Yeah.
That's true.
Then they like do the classic movie thing of the government underestimating this ape, and they're like, "We've figured it out. We know he's going to be fine. We've got enough sedative. Don't worry about this this set piece that we're in."
Yeah.
And they would have been right, except for those cunning siblings.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, back at base, now what was this all about? They fucking turn on some
Sonar,
transmission tower that they have.
Forgot about this.
So dumb.
That's the whole plot of the movie.
I
Is
don't
now
understand why they want them
sonar.
there.
They explain it. I can't remember.
Why?
It's something along the lines of if we draw them here, then the government will kill them, and then we can extract their DNA
Oh,
secretly.
okay. Right. I wanna get
cool.
their DNA.
Good on you, you fucking losers.
Go play your little fucking pinball machine in the corner.
I don't understand how they've
idea
made
ever.
all these billions of dollars from this scheme as well.
Yeah.
Like they have a lot of money, and their whole scheme has been like, we've got some DNA in space.
Yeah.
But either way,
And
I
the
guess
only reason they
weapons
were in
are-
space is too illegal for Earth. Got to go out to international space.
Is that? But yeah, that's a good point. What
Yeah.
were they doing in
I
space?
have no
Is
idea.
it literally just it?
That's
Yes,
it.
yeah, that was it. They did mention that as well. Yeah,
They
we're
were-
too naughty to do this
There's
on
no
Earth.
government cowboys up in space.
That's it. They do refer to the government as government all the time. It's
Yeah.
like, or the government's going to find out. The government's going to get us.
Yeah.
It's like so
I
non-specific.
don't think they ever say that they're the feds either.
He says
Yeah.
he's from an OGA. He says other
goes,
government.
I'm
agent.
OGA, brother. And
That's
then
it.
The Rock goes, I've heard that line of bullshit before. Okay? Other government
yeah.
agency, very funny.
Because that's the thing. The Rock.
was
The,
swindled in a scam by some guy like, yeah, I'm OGA. He's like,
yeah.
no, you can't
Yeah.
get this over me again,
'Cause-
please.
the Undertaker is not only a fucking guy who knows everything about
cycled
apes,
back around.
but he's also ex-military, so he
Yes,
has
that's
every
right.
skill needed
Yeah.
for this
He can
movie.
fly choppers, planes,
Yeah.
every type of gun he can operate.
Yeah.
He was like I
mean, a lot of them just have
Navy
a trigger.
SEAL essentially.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
then got transferred to some anti-poacher
into the UN.
division.
Yeah.
UN.
And now is a zookeeper.
Yeah. Is that common? Is that a common trajectory?
don't
to go
think
from
so.
fighting in Iraq to being in the UN?
Yeah, to be
Well,
in
I
the
can
and then
say
working for
there's
San Diego Zoo.
you probably have never seen the Kevin James movie Zookeeper. Exact same thing happens, baby.
Really?
No. I've never seen it.
Now that's acting.
That's good acting. That's
Yeah.
good acting.
So Monkey busts out of the plane.
Monkey busts out of the cage
That's a
in
cool
the plane,
set piece.
and then we get.
I like that. And when
kind
they
of
got in that
yeah.
plane, I was like, oh, sick.
Here we
Yeah,
go.
Yes,
the first
agreed,
good
yeah.
set piece of the movie.
I didn't mind the first wolf one.
Oh, yeah, we
Oh, yeah.
skipped that.
Yeah. Okay, we
with
skipped over
Joe
that.
Manganiello.
Yeah, Joe
Yeah,
Manganiello.
I
They're
thought he
another
was going to be the main
Deadshot or
villain of the
whatever.
movie.
Same. Another group of people like, oh, a bunch of ragtag-looking mercenaries.
go.
Here come the villains. And
And
then
they
they're
kept
all
on going
eating.
like, did this guy die? Like he just kind of dies off screen.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
he's
and
such a
they-
big
Well, no, the wolf
actor.
fucking leans down right next to his head for
Yeah.
like 50 seconds. And the guy's like, oh, rough day at the office.
Yeah.
And then the wolf eats him up.
Yeah.
So
Jeez.
that's weird because they have like maybe 2 minutes of them kind of shit talking each other in the chopper, and you kind of
Yeah.
go, "Oh, okay, this is setting these guys
Yeah.
up."
Yeah.
And
and
it's
then
the
they are
most
just
fucking-
unceremoniously
The most stereotypical mercenary in a movie thing
Yeah.
where they're like, oh, we should have brought the 50 cal.
yeah.
Yeah.
But they also like set up Joe Manganiello as like this crazy big character.
Do you know what
He
happened
gets
as well?
a better intro than The Rock.
When they fucking intro him, he's
Yeah.
walking through the mercenary camp. Someone hands him a gun, and then he hands that gun to somebody else
Yeah.
later on as well.
He
my
assembles
God.
the gun as
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
walking, then palms it off to
Yeah.
some other
Yeah.
guy, then gets to turn around and be really hot and awesome.
Yeah.
I immediately went, great, finally someone I like in this movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
The cool dude from Magic Mike's
And
back.
it's like a one shot. It's like this one shot that just follows back of his head. Like, who's this? They got someone.
I thought it was
going to
be the Punisher.
And
I really did. I thought it was going to be the Punisher.
John Bernthal. Yeah.
And the siblings have been like, we're gonna call in the fucking people.
My favorite line of the movie is, she goes, "Remember that company we acquired, Killers Are Us? He's the us.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
He's the killer."
Yeah, that was a fucking stinker of a line.
Yeah. So that
We're the us.
I didn't notice that. I think maybe the fidgeting had started by this point, so
yeah.
I must have gotten distracted.
No, I was still into it at this point.
Yeah, this was
I
early.
was.
This was
Yeah,
early.
they're
it
eating
was a
up by the
different
wolf.
kind of movement when Joe Manganiello's on screen. Cam loves the guy.
Yeah,
I got a
do.
little horror. I genuinely jumped at one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like, something's obviously going to jump out, but I wasn't expecting it.
It's
for
also-
some
The
reason.
deer running past them.
Yeah.
That exact thing that has been ripped off a million times from Aliens, where every one of these mercenaries has a camera on their chest,
Yeah.
and we're watching
Yes.
the feed as they all get kind of taken out one by one.
Yeah.
It's been an Aliens, Jurassic World,
And then they
every
always
fucking-
still go to like to
Yeah.
static instead of
Static.
like the blue screen that you would get in a modern, like a DVD logo bouncing around.
Yeah.
But this scene gives us the wolf jumping onto the helicopter, which was fucking
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah.
The action parts of this movie
Yeah.
were fun.
Yeah.
I
And
liked
think
them.
those creatures all look sick.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
the crocodile looks so weird and scary. It's like tooths coming out of
Yes.
his head and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all the teeth in his
is,
mouth.
yeah, teeth. Sorry, I meant to say teeth, guys. But he's got like weird shit. Like he's
Tusks
got
and stuff,
weird
yeah.
eyes and stuff.
Yeah.
It just looked so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked all the.
And
Yeah,
it keeps
the design of
licking
them
the
and everything.
screen. Like its tongue's always exposed. Like
Yes.
keeps on seeing down its mouth.
Did you like that shit?
I love seeing that croc's tongue.
So then,
So yeah, the plane chick
Monkey
was
jumps
cool.
out of the plane.
Yep.
They all get fucked, and the three main people, the cowboy, CM Punk again, and Dr.
Crandall.
Crandon.
Dr. Crandall.
Dr.
Is-
Kevorkian.
They're all alive. They all parachute out. Monkey runs off, and then The Rock and Dr. Cranston have like a weird level of talking in the cornfield.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
like
Yes.
a lot of.
Hated
That's the
it.
bit that
Yeah.
My
Super
brother's dead. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's like-
Yes.
yeah.
Dilly gaff, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so sad
Huge
about my
monkey
brother
on the
dying.
Freaking rock, dude.
Yeah, this is about the fourth speed hump in about 35 minutes worth
Yeah.
of movie so far.
Yeah.
Like,
A
it's just
19-year-old bachelor student try to fuck me. I don't give a shit about your brother.
so then.
Is this where it all starts kicking off?
No, well, then they end up on the military base.
Oh, right.
And then there's even
Oh
more
my
just
God.
dicking around
Yeah.
with nothing
And
happening.
So
Another
much.
government guy is like, I think I know how to deal with this situation. I'm
Yeah.
going to not listen to you.
Yeah. So they steal a chopper and they get jumped by these two army guys. And The Rock sort of says to him, "Don't try this. I know how this is going to go.
One of my favorite tropes of an action.
Yeah, I'm going to punch you, and then I'm going to put you in a choker hold, and you're going to
wet
urinate yourself. That's
Yeah.
embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing that any action star does.
Which
Just-
then he does,
yeah.
and that's kind of to me like was setting up. Oh, and then they'll pan down, and you'll see that he's
Yep,
like, actually
I thought
pissed
we were really going
himself.
to see
Yeah.
a puddle
And
of
you,
piss.
and you don't see any.
No.
That
Yeah.
seemed weird.
Ripped off or what?
I want to see some piss, dude.
And yeah, government guy just lets him steal this chopper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
The Rock can half fly.
Yes.
And then
That's the most vulnerability The Rock has ever shown. It's like, yeah, I do know how to fly this chopper,
Yes.
and then he kind of can. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that stuff where it slots into that real like, I said it before, the awkward like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It all come back to me now. It's
It's
fine.
so funny though
it's just
because he
bad.
kind of can't do it, and you see a shot from the back of the chopper of like a fucking wheel that's not up or something.
Yeah.
As if you're meant to all go, oh yeah, duh.
what a
But then
dummy.
he seems to
Yeah.
sort of do nothing about it, and then just like the second time he tries, like up we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what about the wheel? Put the fucking wheel up, dude. I love that the cowboy guy just has the keys to the chopper on him as well. By the way, like he
Yeah.
busts
I kept
them.
think this dude is a weird character
Did
too.
choppers have keys like that?
Yeah.
They were on like a key ring and shit. Like
Yeah.
he tossed it to him like it was cars.
Yeah.
Fucking car keys.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Yeah.
You got to make sure it's in neutral, and
That
then
drove
you.
me I really threw me for a loop. I was like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is going on?
Is
I did
that
not
real?
think about that.
I don't know.
It was like he jangled the keys
Yeah.
on a
yeah.
chain. and
All right,
shit.
son, here you go.
Yeah.
Take it for a spin.
Yeah.
That character I kept thinking was like playing everyone and was
Right.
going to end up being one of the monsters or something because like he kept seeming like he wasn't on anybody's side.
You
Yeah.
put too much thought into this.
But in a very
He's just a
it's just because he was
angel sent from heaven to make sure Earth is
because he was so
not chaotic.
massively overacting the entire
Yeah.
time. I kept thinking
Yeah.
there must be something going on there, but there isn't.
no.
Nah.
He's just a cowboy.
And surely this is where it all kicks off, right? Are we there yet?
I think it is.
Yeah?
I think pretty much it is.
Well, because
yeah.
they fly into the city and they're like, all the monsters are going to Chicago.
Yes.
Yeah.
The wolf and the gorilla are running
They're
together.
going to fucking Chi-Town.
So yeah,
Get some
finally
of that
we
deep
get
dish.
what
Yeah.
this movie is actually meant to be, like the thing that it's based on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
These
Rampage.
monsters
Yeah.
smashing up the city.
The
smashing
monsters
up
are finally
buildings.
unleashed in the city.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's all right.
I thought it was pretty good.
This is where I started to fall asleep.
Oh, right.
Really?
Yeah.
Third act.
Yeah.
You stayed with it through the whole army base shit.
I was kind of into all of that stuff. As
You love protocol. You love protocol.
I do.
Ben loves dialogue.
Yeah,
he loves to
yeah.
hear those quips going back and forth.
I liked how it just went for it in the most over-the-top, stupid way.
Yeah.
Like, this is the dumbest action movie you will see. And, yeah,
How is
then...
a bunch of people discussing plans going for it?
It's real Sorkin level shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, yeah.
A lot of walk and talks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk.
Oh yeah, and he has that weird fight with the army dude, like the cowboy guy,
Yes.
and him at, like
yeah.
at
Oh,
loggerheads
God.
about
They
how
have
to
a
proceed.
tete-a-tete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like the wolf scene, the plane scene, and how stupid the dialogue was.
Yeah.
I didn't dislike the end. I just got sleepy.
I liked where it, like, just them beating up the city was fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had a good time. And then, like, The Rock and Dr. Crimbo just hovering, watching it all, like, not really knowing
Yeah, that
where
was-
to go.
Yeah, they're just like
Yeah.
doing laps of the city.
Yeah.
It's like doing blockies.
and they're
Yeah.
throwing tanks at every other helicopter and plane and stuff, but not them.
They didn't really trash too much of the Windy City. They kind of just
Thank goodness, it's got some of the best architecture in all the United States.
I mean,
home of trash-
Dark Knight, dude.
They trash at Dave and Buster's, and Dave and Buster's actually have a deal where they've made like an updated Rampage arcade game
Awesome.
that's exclusively at Dave and Buster's in the States.
Right.
Yeah, I
Excellent
noticed that
cross-promo.
Yeah.
that long
Very deliberate.
shot
The-
of...
Yeah.
They pull the sign off and like throw it into the camera.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
No, he's tearing apart the Coca-Cola factory. Oh, it's getting in my mouth. It's delicious, but this is terrifying.
Now the gorilla and the wolf are climbing this tower
Yes.
to try and destroy it because the sonar's
To
fucking
turn
them
off
up.
that annoying
Goddamn
sound.
sonar. Meanwhile, the Rock.
Oh yeah, because they've done a lot of exposition of these animals are like 10 different animals now.
Yeah.
They've got some
Yeah.
bat
But
and
they're
some
kinda
gecko,
not really.
and it's
Yeah.
just her swiping through a Wikipedia
Yeah,
article
yeah.
in incognito mode
Yeah.
as well.
God.
I noticed from the
Wow.
colours. Yeah.
I also loved that she
How
said
did
that
you know?
doctor said, yeah, the siblings have always been obsessed with sonar.
That's like a line that you would write. Yeah. That's such a Cam line.
Obsessed with it. What the fuck?
Just in their sleep, sonar.
Yeah, that's
Sonar.
oh, so dumb. So all they're really trying to do is turn off that freaking satellite at the
Yeah.
top of
Yeah.
the building.
So they're just kind of racing. That's why they're not smashing heaps of the city. They're just on a
Yeah.
race to
Yeah,
get through to
yeah.
there
We've got to
and
break
climb the
one
building.
building. Come on, guys, let's do it.
But this is where Croc Boy comes out, or I
Yeah.
guess Alligator Boy
Yeah.
comes
Yeah.
out.
He doesn't
and-
really do too much though, does he, Alligator Boy?
Are you serious?
Oh no, he has.
Shut up, man.
Fully. He has a big
serious?
fight with George. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
Serious,
actually
dude?
there's a fair bit of croc.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
there.
man.
Well, because he's
That's more
just
like it.
climbing that building and then just goes horizontal through it at some point.
Yeah,
'cause
just to
they're-
fuck it up more, I guess.
Oh yeah, we forgot to bring it up. On the plane, Rock just bursts out of the fucking cuffs.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
A beautiful moment.
Dumbass.
So good.
Yeah.
I love that.
Not many other actors could do that.
No.
So it's pretty awesome they got him.
He also
These.
does it in one of the Fast and Furious as well.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
he breaks
sure.
out of like a
Breaks out of an arm
like
cast and something else.
That's right. Yeah.
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 he just flexes out of
yeah.
it.
Flexes
It's
out
just
of it.
such a
That's
thing that they
fucking
go
sick.
with this character, with this actor. They're like, well, people will buy him
Yeah.
breaking out of
Yeah.
steel.
Yeah.
Like, no one will question it. Look at him.
But also, like what they've locked him up with, it's just like a cable tie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like it's not handcuffs. It's
No.
like
And having
yeah.
done nothing wrong
Yeah.
as well. I don't
Yeah.
understand why he's cable
They should have
tied.
chopped his hands off.
make ashtrays out of him.
The ultimate indignity.
Yeah.
He's been poached.
By the way, that we've glossed over that. When they're in the cornfields having their heart to heart, we get a flashback of George watching his family get murdered. It's
Yes.
like, I don't know that we needed
Getting
to like
hacked up
see
at the
that.
That's
That's
100% one of
Like,
the bits I fell asleep through.
him-
Because I woke up midway through, like, what the fuck is going on? I didn't know what was
This
happening.
baby
needed
gorilla
to, like,
hiding under a car looking sad.
redo that, like, George
Make
is,
us like him
he's nice.
Yeah. So,
Although he does fucking eat someone in this
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
The only person he eats is the one person they needed him to eat.
Yeah.
But he has not eaten
He's
another.
never shown any sign of being like carnivorous.
No, I think they eat nuts.
Yeah.
But he just eats that woman when
That
she's
was
got the
actually
antidote.
that actually crossed a line for me.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they-
Yeah.
Saw
Yeah.
Malin
Yeah.
Ackerman just shot the Rock, but
Yeah.
please don't
But we
gobble
saw
her
her
up.
go like fall down
And
his
then
throat.
Yeah.
squeezed.
I thought that
into
was
Her legs
sick.
like
Yeah,
got
you
all
loved it.
I
bent
loved
up.
it. I loved
I
that.
just went,
I yelled
oh,
out, I
he's
love
irredeemable.
this.
Because in between, they like climb up the thing. They go into the. I can only think of the word restaurant lab, and they.
Food.
I'm really hungry.
Cooking up some
yeah.
experiments on the old
They
hot
go in
plate.
there and they steal like 3 of the antidotes, and
Yes.
there's like 20 more in there. Just take them all, idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take every single one of them in case you drop one. Anyway,
Yeah.
she,
So at this point,
the Rock gets shot.
the Rock gets shot.
No.
And
Mullen
he's
Ackerman
fine.
gets eaten. Yeah.
He just brushes it off, and a couple of times remembers in some shots to go to hold his side.
Yeah.
They show the blood thing, and it's like it's the size of a fucking 50-cent coin.
Yeah.
It's
And he's
like-
had like bigger blood marks on the back of his
Yeah.
singlet for the whole movie.
Yeah.
A really weird amount of blood on the back of his head.
That was
Yeah.
distracting.
Yeah.
So then the building that they're on starts to collapse, and they come up with this thing that they can get in the helicopter and just hover it just above the building,
Yeah.
and they'll
Because
be
it doesn't
safe.
have a tail.
Like surfing an avalanche.
Yeah, which he says,
Which he says,
doesn't he?
yeah.
Yeah, that
So-
was cool.
And she goes, I don't know what that's like.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
great line.
So that
Rock's
so
like, yeah, I surf avalanches every winter. I go Perisher, Threadbow, I carve it up.
so there's this building. It collapses. That looks really cool because there's the monkey and the wolf are on the top of it.
Because the alligators
That's-
just walk through the middle is why it's
Yeah.
like he gets bored of climbing and at some point just
Yeah.
walks through the center.
Huge set piece. You'd sort of think, oh well, this is the climax.
Yeah.
This movie goes. What about another 25 minutes right
Yeah.
now of then just the wolf and the gorilla fighting on the ground
Yeah.
in the dust? It looks shitty.
How funny was that awesome reveal that the wolf is also a sugar glider?
Oh,
Yes.
And then Rock does that shit thing of like, of course the wolf can fly.
of course
Yeah.
the wolf can fly.
Yeah. So why don't the others get extra
I know.
shit added onto them as well?
Because it's only the wolf. The wolf can shoot spears
The wolf
out of
shoots
its
spikes
tail.
as
That's
well.
right.
Yeah.
Helicopter. But the croc's just fuck ugly and the gorilla's just slightly bigger. Like, those are the two traits that they have.
Yeah.
And then they just fight for ages. I like the way, like the thing of the Rock standing near the crocodile and being like, "Come on, wolf, come get me," and it goes into the mouth of the. But then
But then they
bites
turn on
its
each
head
other,
off.
and you have to think, like, why did they not just turn on
Yeah.
it? If they're that
Yeah.
like insane,
Yeah.
why aren't they just turning on each other before they even get to the
Yeah.
tower?
But it bites its head off.
That's sick.
That was fucking cool.
That was sick.
I think I missed that.
Yeah, you did fall asleep during this.
Oh, really? You
Yeah.
missed that fight.
Yeah.
Oh.
So then, eventually, George saves the day.
Yeah.
He ends up killing the lizard guy by kind of sacrificing himself.
Yeah.
Takes a
I honestly can't remember how he did
Honestly,
it.
he
gets a pole
stabbed
through the
the
chest.
Pole through the
heart or
chest.
Yeah, the
something.
Christ-like metaphor really comes to full head
Yeah.
at this point.
I mean,
Yes.
George is the chosen one.
yeah.
Yeah.
In this hero's journey.
It's
In
weird
all
that he-
hero's journey, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
the new chosen one.
Yeah.
It was strange that they had him hold his arms both out at full length for the entire movie. It kind of looked like he'd broken and was doing like a T-pose.
So at this point, at the end, we're pretty much at the end. We think that George has died.
Rock gets in a helicopter and tries to shoot the guy, like a
croc.
grounded helicopter, tries to shoot the croc.
Oh, that's right.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Meanwhile, wait. So
I'm
meanwhile,
in full fidget mode. At
Cowboy.
This point.
Yeah. Cowboy is.
He's in the lobby.
Cowboy's in the lobby.
Oh,
yes.
this.
Jake Lacey's doing a runner with all the evidence. Is
With
trying
the
to get
rat, who
himself
you're
out there
thinking
with-
like,
yeah.
oh, the rat's
The
going
rat's
to
gonna
get big.
Yeah.
Fucking up. Good callback to the start.
Sequel, maybe.
Yeah.
So the cowboy kind of basically goes, "Oh, if you give me your laptop with all the evidence of what the company's done, you can go free." And he goes, "Oh, duh, great." Does it, runs out the front door, is immediately crushed by a bit of the building falling on him.
Yeah.
And the cowboy kind of gives this look as if like, well, my plan played out perfectly. What?
It was
You
his
didn't know that
plan.
was going to happen.
And he goes
He
like,
looked out the door first and then went,
Yeah.
"Hey, I tell you what, why don't you get out of there?" Like he knew.
Yeah.
Why
He
don't you
knew.
walk that way? Walk along this line. It's like he was Michael,
He's Wile E. Coyote.
the John Travolta character. He is an angel living on Earth.
Yeah, that was brutal.
it was weird and like I didn't need that guy to die. either. But Malin Ackerman, when she dies, I was into that.
I
You
wasn't.
yelled out, "I love this."
Yeah. I screamed it really
So,
loud. I
yeah.
ran into another cinema and told him about it.
Guys, you got to see this.
Guys, leave this. Come in here. This is sick.
Can we rewind this?
I have a mouthful of popcorn trickled down my front. Right back a bit. That's fucking rich.
So then so then George, we think he's dead. The Rock's very upset by
Oh God.
Gorilla-
This was the word, and like I thought that the second that George was back, I was like, okay, he's gonna flip off the croc and then kill the croc.
that. Yeah.
Right.
Which is what he should have fucking done.
Right.
And he doesn't. He dies, you think, and then there's like a mother hugging her child and whatever, and then it just the most awkwardly fucking jarred in moment of like, wait, did you just open your eye?
Yeah,
I saw you
very
close
bad.
it.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Turns out
After
George was
he's-
just pretending to be dead.
Yes.
Because he's
I
got
do that all the
He's
time
got that
too.
twisted.
I do that all the time as well, just so I can hear my friends eulogize me. Just like The Rock did.
Is that why you would pretend to be asleep in the movie? Oh, yeah. Are you at... What time are you on? 5. Oh, 5. Okay, cool.
5.
Sorry, I thought you were at 6.
Shit, 6:50. Oh, sorry.
Do a very quick...
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So then this brings us to what I think is the best thing I've ever seen in any movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is the gorilla seeing that The Rock has a female friend, is pointing at her, and The Rock goes, "Oh, she's a friend. She's part of my pack
Family,
now."
tribe.
Yeah.
or whatever.
Troop or something.
Then
Yeah.
the gorilla does the universal
Gorillas are
symbol.
all at sketch troops.
The gorilla does the circle with one hand and the finger of the other hand going into the circle,
Yeah.
as
The
if to mime,
international symbol.
"You fucking."
You fucking tonight. Who
I
fucking
don't
tonight?
think I've laughed harder in a movie. in a
I
very long
lost
time.
my fucking mind.
Yeah.
I could not believe that this movie aimed at 12-year-olds ended on a pussy joke.
Yeah.
I could
It's
not
insane.
believe it.
And
There
the
was
other
a
thing
somber
is-
silence in our cinema.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were not
Yeah.
It
into
was
it at
very
all.
sobering. That
We were
moment.
all angry that he wasn't dead. That
Yeah.
would have been a good
Yeah.
emotional,
And then
beat.
immediately after that bit, like Rock high fist bumps him and
Yeah.
whatever, and then it like zooms out and it's like, oh well, I guess they saved the day. And the monkey walks up and just lifts somebody out of the building on his hand.
That's
Some
right.
fucking crazy person just walks onto his hand real confidently.
I just watched this cunt tear down the fucking city.
But I think he's
I'll
good now.
jump in his palm.
Did you get a load of the sex?
I saw him
joke you
do the
just did?
pussy.
Yeah, that was
The
sick.
thing is, this
This
gorilla
guy
only
gets it.
knows sign language because The Rock taught it to him.
Yeah.
Why is The Rock teaching this gorilla the sign language
Yeah.
for fucking?
You gotta
I know,
learn.
that's
Well,
a very good point.
That's a story for the sequel.
No, prequel. We need to see how this came to be.
And
We're
then
at
The Rock once again vehemently denies his attraction to a
Yes,
woman.
yes.
Yeah.
Ugh, yucky.
We are out of time.
Yes,
I'm afraid.
we got to wrap this up. But it's fun when it's when it's being an action movie. It's fun.
Yeah, in conclusion,
one of
I
the
liked
most-
the movie.
One of the most dumbass movies I've ever
Yeah.
seen.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
10 stars.
Yeah.
10 stars, 5 bags of popcorn.
Honestly, best of the fest for me so far.
I think it is the first video game movie that I really liked.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Better than
It is-
Tomb Raider, I thought.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about it another
Cam
time.
loves
It's
Tomb
silly
Raider.
fun. Cam and Alexei, thanks heaps for joining us.
Thanks so much for having
guys.
us.
Check out Total Reboot. Check out Mike Check. Check out Cameron James at the Comedy Festival for another
all
couple of
those
nights. Filthycasuals.com.au is where you can find all our stuff. Guys, thanks heaps for listening. And as we say at the end here of every episode of Filthy Casuals...
Well, this sucks.
This podcast is part of the Planet Broadcasting Network.
Visit planetbroadcasting.com for more podcasts from our great mates. It's not optional, you have to do it. We used to go easy on it, but now you have to.
Yeah.
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 Yeah.